Well, hi, hello. I thought today we'll talk a little bit about equipment, mainly micro four thirds, and why people choose micro four thirds and why in particular I chose micro four thirds. There's two different camps in the photography world. Those that love micro four thirds, I guess, and those that don't. And those that got to go for a full frame camera, or they don't consider it micro four thirds is good enough. But the reality is that micro four thirds was produced by Panasonic and Olympus, joined together to produce this format, and it's a good format. It makes the camera equipment small, compact. The camera body, the lenses likewise are small and compact, and the knock-on from that is, of course, they're so much cheaper as well. Performance wise, compared to a full frame camera, well, you've only got to look at some of the professional photographers that have used this format and recommended this format. There's Mike Lane, a very well known bird photographer who's on YouTube. He uses micros four thirds for a similar reason to myself, and that's because it's small and compact, and it also gives excellent results. And I think if anybody goes onto his channel, you can't disagree. I mean, some of his photography is outstanding. And then you got David Falk, bless him. He did a lot with micro four thirds, and I have gone, and although he has now passed, his channel is still up on YouTube. There's lots and lots of reviews that he's done, tests and all sorts, and I go by the likes of him on the equipment that I choose, whether or not it's going to be good, sufficient or whatever for my purposes. The camera I'm filming this on at the moment is the Luminar GX8, which I use as my general knockabout camera, if you like, landscapes and doing blogs and so on. It's about the same age, I suppose, came out about the same time as the G9, which is the other camera that I have, which is 4 or 5 years old now. But you go by the results, what it produces, and also being second hand, you get a very good value for money, which is a very good point. I did look at the GX7, but that's a 16 megapixel. The GX8, as I say, which is what I'm using now, it's got the 20.3 megapixel sensor, the same as the G9. So it's got a good size sensor for micro four thirds. They superseded the G9, the GX8 with the GX9, which they made smaller, more compact. The idea is to make it easier to go into one's pocket. They did away with the grip. The GX8 has a nice grip and feel to it, makes it easy to handle. They did away with that, slimming it down. So they slimmed it down width-wise, height-wise. Weight-wise, it's a little bit lighter, not a lot. But the one thing I cannot understand, oh, by the way, the GX8 has a magnesium body and it's weatherproofed, which they didn't do on the new one. Also, they left out the microphone socket. So that's all the reasons why I didn't go for the later model. And the GX8 is, to me, a far better option. It does go in my pocket, or pocket of my big jacket, and I must admit you do need big pockets, but it will go in a pocket. Makes it very handy for sort of general street photography, or generally out on a walk or whatever, and you suddenly, or you feel you need a camera, you see a composition that you don't want to miss. So that's my reason for going for a Lumix GX8. Okay, well, we're now filming on another little Lumix camera, which is just a point. Right, I'm sorry about the quality of this. We're filming this on the Panasonic TZ57 GX8, and it's you'll see I've been using an external microphone socket. Yeah, the quality is not good. The sound is not particularly good as well. And that's the TZ57 is a little compact. But the camera itself is size, it will go in my big jacket pocket. As you can see, the lens, so this way, the lens is very small, and that's a 12-32. When you go to use it, you have to bring the lens out like so. 12mm, and then again up to 32, which is 64mm full frame, 12 being 24mm. And it's got the screen at the back here, which is like the G9. It's pull out, can do a selfie, it twists around. So if I'm shooting down very, very low, twist it out, twist the lens like this, and I can look down on the lens. Or if I'm shooting up high, again I can twist the lens so that I'm looking up into the lens. Very, very versatile camera. It does just about everything that you really are going to need, I would think. I've certainly found it to be lived up to my expectations, so very pleased with that. I occasionally use the external microphone, and sometimes when I'm outside I put the dead rat on to keep the background noise down, like so. So that's pretty much equipment wise. As I say, hope you found it of interest, hope it's not too boring. Didn't really mean to start talking about the camera. I was going to talk about the camera bag. Now, this is one of my first serious camera bags. Manifesto, comparatively small, compact backpack. Comes with all the straps and the across the chest strap to make sure that it doesn't slide. The thing with this is it's lightweight. For a backpack, it's quite lightweight. Also, the material it's made out of is pretty much waterproof. It's got this shiny sort of canvasy material, quite hard wearing. And that, as I say, that was my first bag that I've had a few years now. I then went for shoulder bags, small, compact, just take single camera, maybe another lens, and that was about it. Because if I was going out and I knew what I was going to shoot, I knew what equipment I wanted, and I didn't want to carry lots of other equipment as well. That didn't last for very long. Well, I still use individual small bags, but generally I use a backpack, and I used a bigger backpack than this because I shoot with a Panasonic G9 and the Lumix 100-400 lens, which I like to keep assembled, so I don't have to keep changing lenses. I like to have the camera assembled and ready to use, take out and ready to use. And when you've got that, you've got possibility of one or two other lenses plus another camera like the GX8 that I'm using now. So it all starts to add up space wise and weight wise. In this, you can probably see I've got my G9 here, other bits and pieces in this bag here. It sits here on its back quite comfortably, firmly in place, but I can pull that out with the lens attached, ready to go, which is what I like. And then in the top section, that folds down, and we have, here I have the 35-100 lens ready. Here is where the GX8 would sit, so it's ready to hand. There's zips here and zips here. I've got filters and all sorts. There's also a pocket here that goes right down the whole length of the bag, probably made for putting a laptop or something like that. I don't use it for that. So that covers just about everything that I need. As I say, I did go for a bigger backpack, which weighed on its own quite a bit more than this one. But I think I've got enough weight with the equipment that carry around. So that's the backpack. One of the reasons why I use Micro Four Thirds. Now we'll have a quick look at the G9. Right, there's my G9, and as you can see it's pretty compact size wise. Right, the G9 physically is 11 inches with a super zoom, which is very compact. I have a clip here. Now I don't know if you're able to see that. Hopefully the camera will focus on it. This here is where I clipped the harness onto, and I wear it down by my side. Now this is a harness that goes over my shoulder and also under, so it doesn't slip. You can use camera strap. If you just have a camera strap thrown over your shoulder, it can slip and your prized possession ends up crashing to the floor. Zoom, and when we go into fully zoom position, okay, it's about 15 inches. 15 inches, which is nothing at all. Now, as I say, that's 100 to 400. Being a micro 4/3, you double it, so actually it gives me a range of 800mm in full frame equivalent. So that's quite a throw. And if I can't get the subject I want within that length, then I'm not really trying. But that's basically my G9. Very sturdy. Again, it's weather sealed. The body's weather sealed, the lens is weather sealed as well, because you do get caught out. I don't care what people say, you do get caught out, and it's nice to know that the equipment you're using can take it. As I say, as well as the camera I'm filming on now, the GX8, is weatherproof as well. Choices of camera equipment, although I do have as well, I have a little now this little action cam comes in very handy at times. It's quite cheap but very effective. It's a bit like a GoPro. It will do 4K, it's got Wi-Fi, so I can shoot remotely with it, and sometimes when I want to do, I can stand it up like so, and it acts as a very handy little extra camera. So we have that. Now I tend to shoot off the hip handheld most of the time, but I do use a tripod. Ball head, as we've got here. They do have their place, but I persevered with ball head on tripod, and I didn't find it that convenient, to be honest. So, yes, I've got a particular reason or job to use. I don't particularly use a ball head. What I do use is a pretty standard travel tripod. but I use a panning head. Yeah, this gives me a lot more flexibility. I can pan round, up and down, and I find when I'm filming, especially when I'm filming slow motion, when I'm doing slow motion, then really need this. But it goes up to a good height, got a centre column. You think because of centre column you can't take the legs down too easily to get the camera down to a particular level, but actually in actual fact what you can do, like so, and then you can drop down and mount your camera as low as you like. Yes, you say, well, the camera's upside down, but if you've got a flip screen, as most modern cameras do, and I think the Micro Four Thirds were one of the first, or Panasonic was one of the first to bring out the flip screen, so you can turn the screen round so everything is the right way up, even though the camera is upside down. But you can get down to ground level or take it up as far as you wish. So it's very versatile, and that's what does me. So hopefully that gives you some insight to how I acquire some of the images that I do. Hope you may have found it of interest. Hope I'm not being too boring and rattling on as I tend to do. Can I think of anything else? There's all sorts of other little things. At the moment I'm filming this on a 12-32 lens, which is small, very small. So as I say, the GX8 fits into my pocket. But I will show some photos or some photographs coming up of that so you can see. But I hope that gives you an idea. Just what can be done. This is quite a cheap tripod. It's heavier than I would have liked because it's not a fiberglass one. It's aluminium and metal. It's quite substantial. That's one thing about it. You've got a good solid base, so I can't complain about that. Now just a recap on some of the professional photographers that use Micro Four Thirds system. I should have mentioned Brian White, who's also goes under the name of the Micro Four Thirds guy on YouTube. As I say, I've also mentioned David Thorpe, and Mike Lane, of course, and I will leave links down below to their YouTube. If you're interested, do go and have a look. We'll give you a lot of information, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Though I do ramble on a bit, so I do apologise for that. Once I get going, I don't know when to stop, but there you are. If you have a passion, you tend to do that, and it is a passion of mine now, photography. So all the best, and we'll
catch you next.
Just as a side note, the GX8 that I got came from Park Cameras. Now I use Park Cameras, I use MPB as well. MPB, I got some of my lenses from MPB early on, always very good service, so I would recommend them. You know what you're getting. The description and everything that they say is absolutely bang on, you can't go wrong. The other one is Park Cameras. As I say, I got my GX8 from them. I was looking around and they were the only people that had one in excellent condition, at the right price, and very good value. Again, very good service. Very, very pleased with Park Cameras. Possibly go to them again as and when. And then also there's Wex, and Wex Cameras are my local in Norwich shop, fairly local to me. And I got the Panasonic Leica 100 to 400 lens from them, and again good service, very pleased with them. So I would recommend going to any of these for your second hand, or new, come to that. And if you're looking for a good second hand camera that you know comes with a guarantee, I think they're the places to have a look. Okay, I think that just about winds it up.
Thanks for watching, and could you please give us a thumbs up, that would be good, and maybe subscribe as well, much appreciated, and hopefully we will see you next time. If you subscribe, you will get notification of when the next video comes out. So many thanks for that, and bye for now.